Wildcard weekend, many reasons. One, to defend me. Thank you, Denny. I really appreciate that. And number two, for all of you that can't give up fantasy and want to still play in the playoffs, of course, there's daily. Denny, wildcard weekend stacks in daily fantasy. For those trying to start to get into daily fantasy, why are stacks so important in this exact format?
Yeah, so, if you need more fantasy in your life for the wildcard weekend, there are 6 games. It actually makes for a pretty good slate of DraftKings games. I think what we want to do here, if you're in a large field tournament, so you're talking about, 5,000, 10,000, even more people that you're competing against every week, what you want to do, you want to stack not just a lineup, but a game, right? So paint a story, create a story in which, one quarterback and his pass catchers go off, and then a pass catcher or running back or tight end or on the other team has to therefore also go off, has at least the chance to have the game script, the pass-heavy game script to go off as well. So make your lineups like you're right, as if you are correct. And I know that's hard. I know you want to be safe. You want to be super safe. But we're going to talk about it here. Stacking is important here if you want to get your lineup to the top.
So the game that comes to mind for me, Denny, because it has far and away the highest point total of Wildcard Weekend, is Buffalo going to Jacksonville. The total is 52.5. What would be the strategy for this board?
Yeah, so, you could go a lot of different ways here. I think that the Bills stacks here will be relatively unpopular because of the Buffalo offense struggling over the final month of the regular season. And that means that you might get Josh Allen at a slightly reduced rostership on a 6-game slate. Now, that is significant, okay? That's a strategy I like going into this weekend. If he goes off, that means Dalton Kincaid maybe comes along. That means maybe Khalil Shakir, maybe one of the other secondary or tertiary pass catchers for Buffalo also comes along, right? So you bank on that, and then who's coming back for the Jags in that stack? I say Travis Etienne, because the Bills can be attacked and have been attacked via the ground all season, and Etienne obviously a good candidate for 20 touches.
Yeah, there's no question about it, especially given this game is at home. Like to me, if I'm Liam Cohen, just run the ball, keep Josh Allen off the field, and batter them, because they are bad at defending the run. And so I actually think a reverse too. I think a Jag stack in that game is interesting with Parker Washington, with Brenton Strange if you want to punt at tight end as well. Travis Etienne, of course, as well.
Denny, the game with the lowest point total, of course, the Texans going to Pittsburgh, just 39.5 right now on DraftKings. But maybe you could find some value in this game because of the prices.
Yeah, so the Texans offense has been quiet pass heavy for much of this season. Teams are leaning toward the pass against the Steelers. Nico Collins is the kind of receiver that gives the Steelers fits, a boundary receiver, a big receiver. I like him a lot here. So if you think Collins is going to have a big game, then you throw in Stroud, maybe you throw in Dalton Schultz, and you can get all of those points from your Texans stack. You run it back with Kenneth Gainwell, who has 35 targets over his past 5 games. He's been targeted on 28% of his routes. That's a lot.
Yep, no, I like it. Stroud is very high variance. We saw in that chart against your Chargers a couple of weeks ago, him connecting on those deep balls. And we've seen as well the Steelers, their secondary is vulnerable to getting torched. We saw what Zay Flowers did on Sunday Night Football. We also think back to Joe Flacco doing what he did with Jamar Chase in that Thursday night game.
The Niners having to travel to Philly for the first round of the playoffs here, Denny. And credit to the Niners, they've dealt with a ton of injuries on defense this year. But maybe that benefits building an Eagles stack in this round?
I think so. And look, am I wild about building an Eagles stack? I'm not. Considering how Jalen Hurts and the Eagles looked over the past 3 or 4 weeks. But that means that everybody else is going to be fading them too. So you got to embrace variance, embrace uncertainty here. If you think Hurts is going to have a big game, then you throw in A.J. Brown, you throw in Dallas Goedert, maybe Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown has a particularly good matchup against a Niners defense that really doesn't play much too high safeties. And A.J. Brown can get there pretty easily on 1 or 2 deep shots against a defense that doesn't guard against that sort of thing. So consider him. You run it back with CMC, you get a bunch of targets. This is an interesting one to stack, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think the Eagles are so Jekyll and Hyde, but when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to them playing at home, they seem to be able to turn it on. So I do think there's probably some opportunity there. As a Commanders fan, I desperately hope that the Eagles lose in the first round here. I don't think they're gonna.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched. Or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.